everyone joining in from around the world. Thank you very much for making out the time to participate in today's webinar session. By way of introduction, my name is Godwin Aigbokhan. I'm the head of the Competence Center for Energy and Environment at the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce in Nigeria. Some of you know us as AHK, so I think I would rather just say we are. It's nice to have everyone here, old friends, new friends. You are the reason why we do what we do, and we are all always grateful to have you in this session. So just to set up a bit of ground rules for today's session, I would like to say that if you are not speaking, we will be very grateful if you are able to keep your microphones on mute. I'll be very grateful, so it will help the conversation move forward, and you know, it will help our participants to be able to, our panelists to be able to talk. So as you join, please keep your microphones on mute. There will be a slot for questions and answers, and we hope that you are able to have a very engaging we hope to have a very engaging question and answer session today as well. I just wanted to share the program with you. My boss, Ms. Katarina Felgenhauer, is unfortunately absent. She's taking a COVID shot this morning. So I could just do a bit of a welcome and introduce you to the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce. At the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce in Nigeria, we are the official representation of the German business community, and we work to promote bilateral trade between Nigeria and Germany. So we work to promote bilateral trade between Nigeria and Germany. We do this basically in four competence centers: energy and environment, where I sit; agribusiness; innovations and startups; and dual vocational training. It doesn't mean that we don't also offer services outside of these areas. We also do provide services to German and Nigerian companies outside of these areas, but those are our core areas. We have offices in Lagos and Abuja, and we do various events, capacity building, we do market research, we provide market information, we do business partner searches, we do several things to try and get German and Nigerian businesses to work together and to make business happen. On this note, I would like to invite the Consul General of the Consulate General of the Federal Republic of Germany in Nigeria, His Excellency Dr. Stefan Traumann, to give a welcome address. Dr. Traumann?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much, Godwin. It's really a pleasure to be here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, participants, dear guests, speakers here in Nigeria, in Germany, and other parts of the world. I'm particularly happy because it's a pleasure to welcome you all to the environmental seminar series organized by the delegation and supported by the German government, because it's after the break, the pandemic-related break last year, the first time that we meet, although only virtually, to continue this series. And this series is really it's very important for our cooperation between our both our countries, and I'm glad that we are back in business, so to speak. And I hope, of course, that one of the next seminars we will can hold also in presence again. Since this program was set up in 2014, we have repeatedly had successful and highly rewarding seminars in the field, not only of environment, but also renewable energy, as you know. It has been made possible because we had a special program in the German Foreign Ministry. We built it up, the German embassy in Abuja and the German consulate here in Lagos, together with the delegation of German industry and commerce. And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank in particular Godwin and also Katharina and their team, of course, for their dedication to the seminar series and successfully putting all this together. And these seminars have become a platform for information gathering, networking, and cooperations, and through mobilized in the past. However, as we all know, there still is a huge gap and potential for more to be done. As we all know, the importance of climate change cannot be emphasized enough. Although I'm not an expert on this topic, I can definitely say that the negative impact of pollution and emissions from plastic waste have on our climate is very powerful and very painful as well. So this seminar and this initiative demonstrates Germany's commitment to working with Nigerian partners to fight climate change and take care of our environment. And I think there's a lot of room for creativity. There's a lot to be learned, and there are also many profitable business opportunities in the sector, which I hope we will, and you especially, will tap into today. And on this note, and in the spirit of a German-Nigeria bilateral cooperation, I wish you all an engaging and rewarding session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We're very glad to have you today, and thank you for your speech. You actually elaborated on some of the things that I forgot to elaborate on, and I'm so sorry about that. So it's good that you did. This webinar is like Dr. Twalman said, it's part of a series that we've been running since 2014, both in the areas of renewable energy and in waste management. And we're very glad and lucky to have the support of the Consul General and the Consulate General of the Federal Republic of Germany in Nigeria, and of the embassy, the German embassy in Abuja. So we thank you all, sir, for making the time out from your busy schedule to speak with us today. And we look forward to having a very interesting and engaging session. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, so without much ado, I would like to gracefully hand over the virtual microphone to Dr. Jean-Marc Ricard of BASF West Africa. Dr. Jean-Marc has a very interesting presentation for us around that really captures the heart of today's topic. So, Dr. Jean-Marc, please.
Thanks very much, and good morning, everybody. Thanks for HK to set it up. I think it's critical, and the time cannot be better. And thanks for inviting us as well to share a bit what we are doing. So just give me 1 sec so that I can start sharing my screen. Let's go up. That's one step. And then the next step will be this one. Okay. Okay. Let me know. You can't see in presentation mode, correct?
No, sir, we can't see presentation mode yet.
I'm stuck. Let me exit this one. Oh, why it's not working? It was working 10 minutes ago. It's not working now. Cool.
But I think we can use this mode if that works.
Well, that's a bit of a shame, but unfortunately, the setting have disappeared. So.
And it actually worked 10 minutes ago during our test.
Well, let's see. Oh no, it's Scouts. Okay, that's great. Start again. Never mind, I think we're going to have to do it this way because the setting have disappeared for some reason. Stop sharing. Okay, never mind. That's we live with what we have. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry for that. Let me jump into the context. We all have the first look of Africa as a land of diversity and opportunities. We all know as well that the reality might look very different because Africa today is facing challenges that they've never seen before. We are talking about population growth, we are talking about urbanization, we are talking about desertification, crops destruction. But the way I look at it is one challenge, which is a kind of aggregating all into one. And this is the formidable accumulation of plastic waste that we see. All the pictures that you see were taken in Lagos. Lagos as a city generate about 820,000 tons of plastic every year. Most of it, if not all of it, ends up in the street, and a large fraction of it, and we plan to measure that, will actually end up in the ocean as microplastic. So that we are now facing a situation that it's not a matter of doing incremental progress. It's really thinking out of the box and see what is it that we can actually put forward that will help improving the situation. I hope you see it reasonably well, but I like to look at a pile of plastic waste with special lenses. If you think about it, it's colorful, but it's actually a mine of open questions, talking about what type of plastic do we have there, and there are at least 7 to 10 different species, not even talking about blends. Are we talking about the recyclability or not? Are we talking about the value? What's the value for some of them? Is it a $60 per ton? Is it $650 per ton? All in all, what we want to do, we want to make sure that most of that pile will be recycled back into valuable product, that the smallest fraction will actually end up in the environment, and most importantly, that we will be able to extract through different value chain as much money as possible. This is where we are coming from. And if I try to present what we are actually doing, that we are trying to bring more options in the current recycling toolbox. The waste to chemical project that we've been deploying in Lagos is actually focusing on plastic waste, which cannot be recycled by other means for a large number of reasons. We may come back later in the discussion. We see that today the combination of the mechanical and the chemical recycling can actually increase the overall yield of recycling. Most importantly, it can increase the value creation per metric tons. In other words, the total financial value of waste that can be created. Last but not least, if this is successful, if we bring more tools in that toolbox, we will dramatically release the quantities, diminish the quantities which are being released in the environment. So let me try to explain you what we are doing here. We call it waste to chemical Nigeria. Nigeria is the pilot which we have chosen Lagos for a reason. If it works here, it's going to work everywhere. There are many geographies in the world that could benefit from. It's basically three pillars. One pillar is looking at collection and sorting. I mean, how do we get the waste out of the street? The second pillar is how do we process it? And the third pillar is what do we do with it? What makes that project unique? It's a decentralized approach. We go where the waste is. It is foolish to think that waste can be transported very far. It's a nonsense from an economical perspective. And I think more importantly, by going where the waste is, we create an opportunity for valuable jobs to be created in communities. We estimate that 60% of the jobs will go to women. So there is an impact which goes beyond the financial impact. There is also an impact which goes beyond the environmental impact. There's also a social impact which has been driving us to deploy that project. Step one, I won't go too much into this. We have large activities with multiple waste collection streams. We all know how it looks like in Lagos. Those are some impressions. PET is obviously the most prominent because that's probably the easiest. But you see, I hope you can see in the small pictures, you see that you have issues with polystyrene, particularly the food packaging containers, which tends to be fragmented very, very quickly as soon as they hit the environment, and particularly as soon as they hit water. You don't see them any longer, but they've been just transformed into microplastics. So we are very active in that space. We've done mappings. We know how much plastic can be collected. We know the yield on let's say per pickers basis. So this is something that we have ready to deploy. I just want to mention recyclers because we do a lot of work together. And I like the idea of putting smiles back on people's face. I mean, there's a lot of activity in that space. We're not creating something new. We're just adding an extra tool in the toolbox for plastic that otherwise would have no other options in terms of recyclability. So a big thank you to recyclers, also to Scrap Page and to Recycle Point for all the support and the engagement that they have in that project. Now, as we are a chemical company, a bit of chemistry, and particularly how do we transform, how do we process the plastic? And it all starts with science. We have built, this is the only lab in Africa and probably way beyond Africa, which is focused on circular economy, and particularly the pyrolysis process is here next to me in Peju. I'll just show you some pictures. That lab is state of the art. We can do anything. We have an array of safety protocols around it, gas detection. It allows us to look at what's the influence of the plastic waste on the quality of the oil that you can see on the right-hand side. Plastic waste means how does polystyrene behave? How does mixtures of, let's say, PET plus PP behaves? What's the importance of can they be dirty? Can there be food residues? Can there be salt? We can, in that lab, can do anything that we want in a completely safe environment. We are doing an extensive mapping in that space to prepare, to create a basic understanding and liaise with what we can collect upstream. On on Sunday morning in Lagos Port, we're going to get the next step. We're going to go from 100-fold in terms of scale up from 10 kilograms per batch to 1,000 kilos per day. That's a major technological challenge for us because we go from batch to continuous processing to gas heated to self-generating power to highly manual to completely automated. So we're going to go live if everything goes well. Round about end of July. COVID doesn't help; it prevents people to travel around. But we're going to do it probably on a virtual mode. But the unit, which is the first of its kind in Africa and the first within the BSF world, will definitely start producing by the end of the month. So this is becoming very real, and it's a very nice collaboration with a European tech startup who developed the technology. Just to close here, I won't talk on what do we do with it. That may be part of the question. If necessary for us, the big step is the arrival of that unit. Just a picture of the truck to tell you that it left Germany 3 weeks ago. And it's all about demonstrating the concept of a fully integrating hub and the viability of the project. We have an objective to do that by the end of the year, and if everything goes according to plan, we'll do 2 more next year before deployment, which is planned for 2025 at Lagos, an ambition in the range of 50 to 60 units scattered across the city and generating a flow of oil that we would be affected. So one see that I just close on that note.
BASF, we create chemistry.
Thank you for this, and again, sorry for the technical glitch, which is beyond my control.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jean-Marc. Like I said earlier, I actually think that the whole topic we're having today, your presentation captures it very, very well. And I'm glad to see a lot of reaction. I'm sure a lot of people were not aware of this technology, and you have enlightened them. And I'm sure during the question and answer session, you are going to get a lot of questions directed to you. So I just want to remind everyone, for the question and answer session, please use the Q&A function in Zoom. That is where we'll be able to select the questions that would direct to the speakers. And please address a particular speaker when you're asking the question so that we can know who you're asking the question to. Before our next presentation by Muchemwa Siame of Polycare, I just have to take a quick detour. My boss, Ms. Katarina Felgenhaar, has finally made it from the COVID test, and I would just like to invite her to give a very short presentation. Kat, can you join us? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Godwin. Yeah, sorry for the detour. This was caused by logistics here, as Godwin mentioned, COVID tests. But good news is COVID tests are available, and this is because we can travel again, as much as there's still hurdles. So good news all around, bad news only that I missed my speaking slot. But I'm not going to keep you too long from the discussion. Just for those who don't know me, my name is Kat. I'm the delegate of German Industry and Commerce in Nigeria. And I have a fantastic team here in Lagos and in Abuja. For today's session, as you already know, the main person from our side is Godwin himself, because he's heading our competence center, Energy and Environment. And that means there's a dedicated department that also looks at issues, but most importantly, business opportunities and solutions in the area of circular economy and waste management. So today's session is very timely. A lot of you who are on the panel, but also those who are in the call, know us because the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce has been active in this area of waste management and circular economy. Most notably, last year we had the first West Africa Clean Energy and Environment Trade Fair and Conference, which was supposed to be in Lagos for the first time, and we ended up running it online. We'll have this conference again this year in Accra, but also as a virtual event. So just keep that in mind as we move forward in this year. And then next year, we'll bring it back here to Lagos. Why am I telling you this? Because the issue of waste management and plastics recycling included therein will not be solved overnight. This will be a process. We know we have huge challenges ahead of us. But again, and I cannot repeat that often enough, there is a lot of potential, and we'll see that in today's session. We've already had the great input from Jean-Marc Ricard of BASF, what solutions are possible, because it's not just about repeating old recycling approaches, it's about smarter solutions, it's about innovation, and we have the right people and organizations around the table today in this session. I do want to repeat a big thank you to the German missions here in Nigeria, the German embassy in Abuja, and the German consulate here in Lagos for your support. This session wouldn't be possible without your support, and particular thanks to Dr. Stefan Traumann, who gave this opening today. We really appreciate your support. And I'm not sure whether everybody can see that. We are now more than 130 people in this call, which shows that we're talking about the right topic, and we're talking about this topic with the right people. And I'm seeing from the chat and the Q&A already that there's a lot of potential for collaboration. So I don't want to keep you from that discussion. I'll be listening in every now and then Godwin will be pulling in or pulling together all the input we're hearing today, and we'll be happy to put the right partners in touch for solutions that are new, that are smart, and that are viable, so that together we can solve at least some of the waste management challenges we have here. So on behalf of the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce here in Nigeria, back to the really, really great discussion. A big thank you to everybody who's contributing, most importantly our panelists, and to Godwin for organizing this session, and I'm really looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you very much, Kat. Thank you very much. So without much ado, I think we should just move to our next presenter. He's Muchemwa Siame of a German company called Polycare. And I see that there is someone from Dangote Cement here. I think the person in Dangote Cement should actually pay a lot of attention to what Muchemwa is about to tell you, because this could be the end of the use of cement. So Muchemwa, please take it away.
Thank you. I will start by sharing my screen. I hope I don't have technical challenges.
We can't see your screen yet. Now we can.
Super. Greetings from Germany to all who are logged on to this webinar. I am pleased to speak at this event, and a special thank you to the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce for inviting Polycare to this webinar. My name is Muchemwa Siame. I am originally from Zambia, where I worked for the Zambian government for 7 years before coming to Germany 4 years ago. And I am now working as business developer for Polycare, which company I am very passionate about because of its mission to create a sustainable world. So what is Polycare? Simply put, Polycare is the future of construction. Polycare is a German research technology company that innovates in the field of construction materials, building processes, and architecture.
Sorry,
as you may be well aware.
Sorry, Muchemwa, are you changing your slide because it's not changing?
Not yet, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, as most of you are well aware, Germany is a powerhouse of innovation and efficiency. Today, it is in the top 10 countries that devote large percentage of economic output to research and development. And it is also in the top 10 countries that create new innovations. So the quality of German products cannot be overemphasized. On Monday, I was on a call with some Singaporeans and Malaysians, and they were equally praising the quality of German products. So Polycare is no doubt a quality product. We're offering a quality solution. And the construction industry, which is ripe for transformation, Polycare is stepping in to drive that transformation. Yeah, and our mission is to drive not only the transformation in the construction sector, but also to empower and foster circular economies by means of construction technology and make sustainable habitats possible. So with our solution in Polycare, we're offering a unique revolutionary approach to housing construction that combines innovation, efficiency, gender mainstreaming, maximization of local input use, and environmental sustainability. The tech, make, waste, and energy-intensive processes are just no longer cool. That is why Polycare is on a mission to care for the planet, the only one that we have actually. It's not like there's a spare planet that is waiting for us to move to once we're done exploiting this one. Polycare is thus committed to the task of making living spaces affordable. And our mission is to empower everybody to build a house. Yeah, and apart from empowering them, we want people to be able to use their own muscles. But then what problem are we trying to address? The global housing shortage is in a dire state. This example of just 7 countries in Africa reveals that Africa alone needs more than 41 million units to bridge the gap between the rapidly growing demand and supply for dignified housing. In addition to the growing population, other challenges include lagging construction productivity and environmental degradation, coupled with poor recycling mechanisms. This picture on my top right may be familiar to some of you because it's a part of Nigeria, I believe. What is our solution as Polycare? Our solution to these complex problems is very simple. It involves the use of naturally occurring filler materials such as sand or any flowable inorganic material, which we combine with recycled PET resin. What is PET resin? So it is basically derived from plastic, and our resin supplier will collect plastic waste, sort it, transport, wash it, and crush these plastics into flakes. So they basically put pure science at the heart of business. And the plastic that was destined for landfill is liquefied into earth-kind resin, which Polycare utilizes as a critical ingredient in our production process. And at full capacity, our resin producer can recycle 337 million bottles per year. When you neatly layer these bottles, you could fill 94 Olympic swimming pools. And once we get these precious liquids into our hands as Polycare, this is what we do. We combine the resin and the sand into the machine that you see here. And then the mixture is cast into molds as depicted here. The resulting product is this amazing polyblock. I say amazing because 80% of this block is insulation. and only 20% of it is the polymer concrete. Yet it has the compressive strength of 100 to 120 megapascals, which is 3 to 5 times more than that of cement concrete. It takes cement concrete to achieve just 30 megapascals, 95% of that 30 megapascals, and yet it takes us only less than 24 hours to achieve 3 to 5 times strength. So it is really amazing. You must believe me when I say Polycare is the future of construction, because it really is. Who wants to wait 28 days to get 1/3 of what you can get in less than a day with this compressive strength? As if the compressive strength is not good enough, 1 cubic meter of polymer concrete covers 20 square meters of wall surface, whereas the cement concrete can only cover 4 square meters. And beyond plastic recycling, Polycare has designed a block system that expedites the construction of super strong buildings, not just for homes, but for offices and other multi-story buildings. The Polycare system guarantees 60% reduction of current carbon emissions, and these Lego-like blocks are lightweight. They do not require cementing together. Stacking them is super fast and easy. You don't need bricklaying skills to be able to use our block. And by their very nature, polyblocks have been built with inadvertent mistake proofing, or pokayoke as the Japanese would call it. So someone would need to work hard to build a crooked wall with the polyblocks. And with no reworks, productivity is automatically raised because your output increases. You're doing a lot in less time. What construction workers do in 12 weeks, they can do in 4 weeks with the Polycare system. And what is more, you do not need heavy machinery on site. As earlier mentioned, our system is really simple. Once you have achieved the desired level base, you only need the base bars, polyblocks, some tie rods, windows, ring beams, and roofing. It's pretty simple. This is how it looks like in real life. You start your project like that, and it progresses in this fashion. You don't need special skills. Anyone can do it. In the traditional construction, you need a lot of muscle, so it's generally for men, but with our solution, even women can do it. This woman that you see in this picture was able to lead a team in Namibia to build this house. A super strong house with fittings, just like any other conventional buildings, only it is lighter in weight and much more energy efficient. So to sum it up, while Polycare has a value chain that promotes circular economies, we do more than recycle plastics. We create new value chains that are ready for the future of construction. Using plastic waste to produce PET permanently removes plastic waste from the environment. So when you get the resin into the block, the plastic is gone forever. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the future of construction, being able to advance from recycling to eliminating plastics by absorbing them into our value stream. So if you're idealistic and impact-driven, do send Polycare an email. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Uchemwa. Like I said, Dangote is shaking in his boots right now. I honestly think that Polycare is the future of construction, especially in a country and a city like Lagos that has both the challenge of a huge housing deficit on the one hand, and plastic waste problem on the other hand, and then on the third of it all, the price of cement continues to go up. So Dangote, get ready. You have real competition now.
No, maybe we'll cooperate with Dangote.
Okay, then. Okay, fine. There is a lot of scope for cooperation. So Dangote and Lafarge, because I know our friends from Lafarge are also here too. So let's cooperate. Let's cooperate.
Yes, yes. We work together.
Exactly. So at this point, thank you, Muchemwa. Thank you, Dr. Jean-Marc Rika. Thank you, Katerina, and also thank you very much, Dr. Trauman. The next stage of this presentation will be a panel discussion, but we have been talking now for close to 45 minutes. So I think it's okay if we took a small break, coffee break, get some coffee, stretch your legs, so that we enter into the real discussion next. We are doing very good on time. I think we overestimated the amount of time we were going to take on both presentations. So we're doing excellently on time. So that would mean that we would be able to end before 11:30. So let's just take a small 15-minute break now. Stretch your legs. We'll come back at 10 o'clock. You can put off your videos. But while we are taking the break, I would play some videos that you can watch so that you get ready for the panel discussion. So everyone, yeah, so I will see you all at 10 o'clock.
Like children's building blocks, except these ones are designed to construct real houses. German startup Polycare says its polyblocks made from artificial resin provide an environmentally friendly alternative to traditional building materials. Polycare's bricks are made from polymer concrete, consisting of 90% filler from naturally occurring sands and 10% binder. This allows for the use of local raw materials such as desert sand or other free-flowing filler, a possible game changer for the construction industry. Polycare's COO, Andreas Kunzmann.
Wir benötigen extrem wenig Material auf das Volumen eines Steins. Wir haben hier den kleinsten Stein, den ich hier gerade in der Hand habe. Und wir benutzen oder brauchen 75% weniger Material, um dieses Volumen zu bauen. Das liegt vor allem daran, dass unser Material 4- bis 5-mal so stark ist wie normaler Beton. Und deswegen können wir so sparsam auch an den Wandstärken damit unsere Steine dimensionieren.
The polyblocks are recycled, recyclable, and mobile, which means they can be taken apart and rebuilt elsewhere. This allows people to build and rebuild their own homes in a short space of time.
Die Steine sind nicht nur händelbar und tragbar mit purer Hand, sondern sie müssen auch nicht vermörtelt oder verklebt werden. Sie werden lediglich gesteckt und dann wird durch unser System werden Gewindestangen durch dieses Mauerwerk geführt, die gehalten werden durch unsere Grundleisten und Ringanker und die das ganze System in sich verspannen. Und deswegen ist der Aufbau extrem leicht, braucht keine großartigen Fähigkeiten und das Gebäude lässt sich auch wieder abbauen, wenn man möchte. Und dadurch haben wir ein sehr ökologisches Produkt hier geschaffen, mit dem man ja auch nicht immer angewiesen ist auf den einen Grundriss, sondern man kann ihn auch adaptieren, verändern oder auch erweitern in Zukunft.
The company has already constructed around 100 homes in Namibia using the polyblocks.
Wir schauen uns an, mit welchen Materialien kriegen wir die nachhaltigste Version unserer Steine produziert im industriellen Maßstab. Und natürlich auch mit einem guten Kostengerüst, sodass wir eben auch wirtschaftlich und nachhaltig agieren können, gemeinsam mit unseren lokalen Partnern. Und da kommen wir auf unterschiedliche Lösungen. Wir schauen uns nicht nur die unterschiedlichen Sandtypen an, wir schauen uns auch Abfallströme an aus der Industrie, die wir dann als Zuschlagstoffe oder Füllstoffe für unsere Steine verwenden.
BASF deploys the mobile NIR spectrum. BASF deploys the mobile NIR spectroscopy solution for plastic sorting from e-subsidiary Trinamics to assist waste pickers in identifying and sorting waste plastic streams picked from the streets of Lagos. Every day, over 2,000 tons of plastic waste are generated in Lagos. Some of these plastics are collected and sorted in hubs such as this. The BASF Waste-2 Chemicals project aims to repurpose polyethylene, polystyrene, and polypropylene streams of plastic waste. To help waste sorters in identifying the right plastics, BASF has deployed an online handheld NIR spectrometer from Trinamics, a BASF company. This will aid the rapid detection of
They're
various
like
plastic
children's
streams
build-
for the Waste-2 Chemicals project.
Building blocks.
BASF. We create chemistry.
So sorry. If you didn't see the video, I will try and play it again. I'm so sorry about that. Let me try that again. Sorry about that. I'm trying to multitask. Let me try that again. Sorry.
BASF deploys the mobile NIR.
Godwin.
If you did not see the video, I'm so sorry. I will try and I'm trying to sort that out. Sorry about that. It is a technical challenge. It's not because I don't know how to use it. Okay.
BASF deploys the mobile
I hope you can see the video
NIR
now.
spectroscopy solution for plastic sorting from e-subsidiary Trinamics to assist waste pickers in identifying and sorting waste plastic streams picked from the streets of Lagos. Every day, over 2,000 tons of plastic waste are generated in Lagos. Some of these plastics are collected and sorted in hubs such as this. The BASF Waste-2 Chemicals project aims to repurpose polyethylene, polystyrene, and polypropylene streams of plastic waste. To help waste sorters in identifying the right plastics, BASF has deployed an online handheld NIR spectrometer from Trinamics, a BASF company. This will aid the rapid detection of various plastic streams for the Waste-2 Chemicals project.
BASF. We create chemistry.
Okay. I hope we all watched the video. Well, sorry, Muchemwa, I know you are still on the call. Were you able to see the video? Okay, all right. So I think I have one more video to play. Surprise, surprise, it's from Polycare again. Bear with me. Polycare gave us 2 videos. Stop sharing. They seem to be the same video. Okay. Just for everyone who is asking, the presentations will definitely be shared with you if we get the authorization of our speakers. So just so you know. And also, for those who have their hands raised, I would want to implore you to use the Q&A function to ask your question so that we can take it during the question and answer session. So please, just use the Q&A function to ask your question rather than raising your hand. We already have a lot of questions today. Muchemo, I hope you are ready. So.
Always.
Well, as a salesperson, you should always be ready. You're born ready. To those people who are just joining, thank you very much. We're on a short break. The session will resume at 10 o'clock. We just want everyone to be able to stretch their legs, grab a coffee, because we started really early here in Nigeria at 9 a.m. in Nigeria. So grab a coffee, get some snacks, and then we'll come back into a panel discussion. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. Just a quick reminder to everyone, we're on a short break that is going to end in 3 minutes. That's why it's a bit quiet. We're just taking a short break to give everyone the opportunity to grab a coffee, because we started very early here, at least in Lagos terms, it was 9 a.m. when we started. So we just wanted everyone who is on the call to get the opportunity to grab a coffee, grab some snacks, stretch their legs, say hello to their colleagues, before we resume again with a panel discussion in another 2 minutes. So by 10 o'clock, we should start with the panel discussion. Thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you very much to everyone. Thank you very much to everyone who is still on the call. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for staying and even making the time to attend today's session. We're very grateful to have you. I just want to confirm that all our speakers are still available. So please, I'll be very happy if you can put on your cameras so that we can see you, speakers. Just put on your cameras, the speakers for the panel discussion. I just want to confirm that you have not gone anywhere. It's good to have all of you here. Thank you very much. We have a very good house today. We have a very vibrant session planned. So thank you very much. Unfortunately, we were unable to get Mr. Ibrahim Odumboni, the Managing Director of LOMA, to join. He's having technical issues with his system, so he wasn't able to participate. And he's said that maybe someone would represent him. So we're hoping to see maybe if that will happen. So thank you very much, everyone. So good morning. So we've had two very interesting presentations today that point to the future, essentially, that say this is where we should be looking at, this is the future that we should be heading towards in terms of plastic recycling in Nigeria. So I just want to ask Dr. Adegoke, if you could just do a very short introduction of yourself, and then ask, I want to ask you this question: how do you think the market for plastic waste in Lagos has changed over the last 10 years? What do you think has changed? What do you think, are these changes good? Are they bad? What do you think is, has happened over the last 10 years? You're on mute, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. My name is Dr. Femi Adegoke. Today, I'm the chairman of Lagos Recyclers Association, and as a recycler myself, I'm a co-founder of Ecoviridis Environmental Technology. So the question is, how has Lagos State recycling been in the last 10 years? In simple words, I'll just say Lagos recycling has moved in the last 10 years from where it used to be. Prior to the coming in of the formal sector, as we call them, as we call ourselves, the recyclers that are properly registered as businesses, there has been informal practices as regards recycling in Nigeria and in Lagos. So in the last 10 there have been more influx of former recyclers at different value chain of plastic waste recycling in Lagos. Yeah, we're taking the next step. So it's work in progress.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we've moved from informal to formal, right? But we are not yet there yet, right? So the question is now, I think to you, Dr. Jean-Marie, because you sort of alluded to it in your presentation, right? You sort of said that there is a scope for solutions like what you offer to complement traditional mechanical recycling, right? So is that the next step we should look at? Should we look at saying, how can we create a proper after-use plastics economy that will optimize or complement traditional mechanical recycling? Or do you think that traditional mechanical recycling in the next 10 years will be completely irrelevant? Dr. Jean-Marc.
Sorry, I didn't get that the question was for me. I think, again, there's a need for more, and we just need to deploy as many technologies as we can to complement mechanical recycling. We're not talking of replacing, far from it. We are really complementing and giving the opportunity, very much what Polycare is doing, for things that cannot be primarily mechanical recycled, then giving options, avoiding this to be either landfill or just released in the environment. So we are just enlarging the value addition and probably creating value chain which do not exist today. So there's no competition, there's no either or. And if you look at, if you visit Recycling Hub, you immediately see that there are opportunities for everybody. But I think there are too many plastic which today we have no options for, and that's what we are trying that's where we are trying to add value.
Siame, Muchamba, do you agree? Like, is that it, or do you think 10 years from now we should just forget mechanical recycling?
I totally agree that, well, it may not be possible to forget recycling altogether, because something has to be done with the plastics, right?
Sure.
Yeah, we are using these plastics, we need them. So the first step is to recycle them and maybe push them into a value stream like ours.
Yeah. So that means ban or no ban? Are you for ban or no ban?
Ban of what?
Single-use plastics. Are you for a ban or are you for no bans?
Remember, I come from Zambia and we have ShopRite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we also have Mr. Harold Okonobo from a company called Recyclan on the call today. Mr. Harold, can you switch on your camera and just do a quick introduction of yourself, and then probably just help us answer this question, like, Recyclan is kind of a new company in the space, but how easy has it been to enter this, formalized space, and what were your challenges? What should new entrants expect, and how do you think they can best overcome them? Mr. Harold, can you hear us? So I do not think that Mr. Harold is on the call. Maybe I'll try and get him on the phone.
Hello, sorry, I just joined. Sorry.
Okay.
I was on mute initially when I was speaking. Yes.
Okay. So I think I said, could you just do a quick introduction of your company and then just let us know, because Dr. Adekoke talked about how the market has changed over the last 10 years, right? And he said that it has moved from a more informal to a more formal market. And then Muchemwa and Dr. Jean-Marc both said that the next step is not to completely do away with traditional mechanical recycling, right? And
Yes.
it's that we should look for solutions to complement traditional mechanical recycling. So I'm saying, if we're not going to do away with traditional mechanical recycling, for a new entrant, how easy to enter the market, and what are the challenges that new entrants should expect, and how best can they overcome them? Speaking from your perspective as a relatively new entrant into the market. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I would say, first and foremost, something we've done in recycling as new entrants is we've tried to work with, let's say, the infrastructure and collaborate with people who are on ground. The advice I have for the new entrants basically is something that's very particular about Nigeria and the infrastructure we have for recycling is there are particular persons, institutions, and what have you that are already on ground. It's important for you to create synergy. That's actually what helps businesses grow. At Recycling, we think more of other people in the recycling space as collaborators other than competitors. We believe that we're all working towards a common goal. So our approach towards recycling in Nigeria is one where we're looking at, okay, how can we work with people who already exist? How can we look at ways to help them access institutional finance or even provide financing in some sorts, whether it be pre-financing. In some cases, we've also tried to invest in the value chain and infrastructure that brings PET to us. So we provide machinery for some. We've launched a program called the Franchisee Program, whereby we help people actually set up, because the more players we have, the better we stand the chance of being able to rid Nigeria of its plastic waste. So the advice I have for new entrants is, when you come into a space, you want to be able to work with the existing stakeholders from the institutions. If you're in Lagos, for instance, it's important that you have synergy with Loma. If you're you want to ensure, because it's a collaborative effort that would enable you grow the business and grow to a particular extent. It's also the same way we've been able to expand across Africa. We go into a new market or jurisdiction, and we look for people who already play within that space or at whatever level in the value chain, and then we begin to work with them. So we've had situations, and we say, okay, do you know what, you've been able to supply us consistently. Why don't you move higher up the value chain, which would be maybe you flaking? And we say, okay, let's look at providing machinery. You could amortize the payment of that machinery probably by discounted products, but over a period of time, you help these people grow up the value chain, and it also enables them employ more people and increase their earning power.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, I wish we could have more from you to, maybe you could explain more about your business model, because that's actually quite interesting, and I'm sure that there will be a lot more people on the call who will be interested to know exactly how you do this.
Sure. Okay. So I work with a company called Recycling. We are a bunch of, I'll say, very, very young, passionate professionals that are very, very interested in the whole space for plastic recycling. Now, our value chain over the last 3 years, we've been able to grow really, really fast. And that has been from a position of being able to collaborate. So we came into the space in about 2018. And like every other business, you would experience your early failure or flaws in some sorts, which comes from possibly trying to understand the value chain, understand the market you're currently in. And what we started doing was, first and foremost, we started reaching out to existing recyclers. In Nigeria, we're privileged to have a very, very vibrant group called RAN. You have a lot of people who are passionate about recycling at different levels there. So what we did was we began working with people within the RAN network. We would ask, okay, how can we, because we came in playing as off-takers initially, as pretty much like in between doing the trade. And gradually we started backwards integrating to the point where we now have our mega facility in Delta State, Agbo, Nigeria. And what we started doing was we would contact them for those who would play at the level of plastic collection. We would say, okay, we would like to buy plastic. Those who have bills, we would get bills from different places. We're also able to extend our tentacles because a problem we typically find is if you have 1,000 recyclers in Nigeria, you find almost 800 of them are all situated in Lagos. So we try to extend our reach, and we started doing more business in the north, because the north has the same plastic. Everywhere in Nigeria has the same plastic problem. So it's not something that is only, would I say, it's not just found in just urban areas like Lagos. So we started working with these people within the value chain. We'll look at ways to help them grow, because the value chain and the infrastructure that's currently existing, right, can supply a certain level of PET. For you to be able to ensure that you can get the quantity you want, you must be able to make a certain level of investments. And the truth about it is that recycling, though it's been around in Nigeria for quite some time, the industry itself hasn't been able to solidify so well. So what that means is that if you approach a bank, if you're doing oil and gas and you approach a bank, there are departments within the bank that understand oil and gas space. So if you say you want to do procurement, they understand what it's about. But if you approach most banks and you say you're a recycler, it takes a while for them to actually understand your value chain. So what we've been able to do is to play in whatever capacity we can as big brothers to, okay, you're a small scale recycler, how can we help you grow? We've just recently launched a green fund. We sent some of our key staff to go look at certain small scale recyclers and see, okay, these people can actually scale up. And what is really, really nice about the recycling value chain is the median age in Africa is 19 years. In Nigeria, it's 18 years. It means generally Africa has a very young population, and we're due to have a lot of industries here. The educational barrier to entering recycling is next to nothing, if I'll say. Meaning, you don't need to have gone to primary school to be able to pick up plastic, remove the label and remove the cover and earn a living from it. So we believe that if you can empower that value chain, there are a lot of persons that can benefit from it. So we started a 10x approach. Look at all our recyclers constantly supply us. And the question we ask is, how can we help them increase their capacity? Because some of these persons might not be able to approach banks for institutional funds. They might not have management accounts. They might not have audited books or all these things that they'll ask for. But these people are actually very good at what they do. So we then play in that position to start empowering that value chain. And it's the same thing we do across Africa. And I'll say that's what we're very much known for, the aspect of collaboration and synergy. Okay, excellent. So collaboration, synergy, that's, I think, is the most important thing that I've understood for, and empowering, collaboration, synergy, and empowerment. Those are three words that I think that you've said today that I think sort of highlights what you do in your company. So I want to ask the same question to Mr. Shokwe of Blue Cycle. Is that your same experience? Is that the same experience you have? Is that what you do to collaborate and empower?
Yes, definitely. So good morning, everyone. And thank you really, Godwin and team, for putting this together. So one of the things I had noted, in terms of when you put that question of what should new entrants be doing. So one of the points I had noted was that having the right partners right along the value chain is something that you cannot do without. So again, that story of collaboration comes in. And of course, within this collection space, within the waste management space, collection, aggregation, and across that particular chain, you find out that yes, one of the things that organizations like us or like ours are trying to do is essentially to, we're bringing value into that space. It's that you're taking waste and turning it into a valuable resource. So like someone said, how about we don't even see this as a waste in the first place, but see it as a resource. So it becomes a raw material for companies like ours, and I guess like others within this space as well. So frankly, you're looking at this thing that everybody used to just dump and throw around and throw away. How do we take it and turn it? It becomes a raw material for all of us. So that's empowering people. That's it becomes something that people can say, instead of dumping this. I think that's the next stage. That's the next phase. Is that instead of, if the industry is able to grow to a point, what you will then begin to expect to see, and what we will see is that when you finish, when you finish using a jar of lotion, for example, or some drugs or a beverage, or you've come back from shopping and you have this waste nylon bag, so to speak. You are not thinking dump it in the refuse bin again. You start thinking, oh, you know what? I need to start collecting this. I need to start, and I think that's sort of the next phase. So that's where you expect society hopefully to get to with support from regulators, is that you begin to say, okay, you know what, this is not something that goes in the waste bin anymore because it's no longer waste. It's actually now a raw material, it's a resource for somebody. So it's a case of closing that loop so that when they gather that, there's someone somewhere or there's some place where that can be dumped or dropped off, and then, for people like us to take it up. So 100% agree in terms of both the collaboration theme and the empowerment theme.
Yeah. So then I'll come back to you again, because you didn't really explain what Blue Cycle does, which is very related to ASF.
So I mean, really, within, if you want me to, within what? So now we are into chemical recycling. So what a lot of entities do within that space, within the recycling space right now, is more of mechanical. Blue Cycle works with a German OEM, Biofabric, who are the manufacturers. So essentially, they are the ones that have pioneered the WasteX plastic that converts PE, which is polyethylene and polypropylene, mainly into pyrolysis oil. So right now, with mechanical recycling, one of the limitations is that you don't get virgin grade plastic. With chemical recycling, you get virgin grade plastic from that process. So that is what, so we sit here in Nigeria representing and working, partnering with Biofabric to deploy those machines and essentially to build that value chain. So essentially from collection of the plastics, you also find out that within that space, when people think plastics, I think image that comes up first and foremost in people's mind is PET. But we are taking a different tack. So we are focused on polyethylene and polypropylene mainly. And so it's collecting those. You find out that within us, so it's collection of those, aggregation of those, and then taking that and putting it into the WasteX machine. And at the end of the process, you get pyrolysis oil that the plastic industry, so virgin grade plastic, can be made from the oil. So this is what we do. And in terms of, so essentially, that's what Blue Cycle is about. That's who we are. Thank you.
So essentially, you are competing with LMA Petrochemicals in Durama.
And we are not competing with them. We are complementing their efforts. So because and that's what this is all about. It's all about the environment, right? One of the challenges we have with plastic creation, even from scratch, is the greenhouse gas emissions.
Yes.
You don't want a better environment, all of that. So you have greenhouse gas emissions. And then currently, those plastics at end of life, what happens to them? They end up in landfills, they end up on microplastics within the ocean. A lot of us know the facts. The fact that, by 2050, if things continue at this rate, when you throw a hook into the ocean, you are likely to come up with plastics as opposed to fish. Nobody wants that, do we? Yeah. So the point is that instead of LMA always using ethylene from instead of them always using fresh oil, virgin oil, every time they need to make plastics, how about we say, LMA, here's pyrolysis oil that is from waste plastic. Use this at the beginning of your process instead of virgin oil.
Okay, that would definitely make LMA greener, but it would then. But then it's always as if it's like a domino, right? So you try and solve one problem, but you annoy somebody else. So if you say LMA, use less crude oil to make your plastics, you annoy the IOCs, right? So the international oil companies say, no, what is going on? So at the end of the day, it's like you're going to fight somebody else. But I'm seriously concerned that Blue Cycle has a lot of potential in this market, but I'm really concerned about, will this not lead to additional CO2 emissions? Because pyrolysis oil cannot just only be used for making virgin plastic materials. It also can be used as a source of fuel, right? So Is that a part of your value chain that you are considering, saying to talk to maybe oil companies or petroleum companies here in Nigeria to say, can you blend a bit of pyrolysis oil with your oil, with your petrol? Is that something you are considering too, or would that not also lead to CO2 emissions?
At the moment, between you and I think the focus primarily is on chemicals companies and polymer companies, I must say. So the question of additional CO2 in the environment, I can tell you for a fact that there's a life cycle assessment study that was done, guessed by our friends at BASF. Thank you, Dr. Jean-Marc Ricard and BASF. So I'm going to quote that study. And that study found out that the pyrolysis process actually releases 50% less CO2 than incineration, for example. So it is a lot less harmful. I mean, and the system that we are actually deploying, the biofabric system, is actually very, very earth friendly, because that process gives, so most chemical recycling processes, yield is around 70%. The yield of the biofabric system is 85%. And then the remaining 15% is 12% gas that you can use to power the system itself without going to look for external sources of powering the system. And then you have 3% carbon black that can also be sold. So you have a system that you put in 100% of something, and at the end of it, you're getting 85% oil, 12% gas, 3% carbon black. So pretty much zero waste. Okay, that is what you're getting. And like back to your question on CO2 emissions, is 50% less harmful to the environment as it is right now. It releases 50% less CO2 than incineration.
The process is, but is the oil?
Yes. It is. I mean, so really, when you're measuring CO2, 100%, I mean, it's all about the process, right? During the process is where you essentially get your CO2 emissions. That's when you get your greenhouse gas emissions. So really, that process is a lot better for the environment than current practice.
Okay. So let's sidestep that question. I'll come back to Dr. Femi. You are the chairman of the Lagos Recyclers Association, and you've heard a lot today from our eminent panelists. I want to bring our discussion to a close, because I think there's a lot more value in the question and answer section. There's a lot of questions, and I hope we are able to go through all of them. So I want to give more time to the question and answer session. So I just wanted to ask you, Dr. Femi, how then connect, collaborate, create? How can we do this? What can we do better? Because to make this happen, how can we build those sort of stakeholder relationships, across public, private, public? How do we do that? How do we make that happen?
Oh, thank you very much for that question, because that's one of the principles of our association, to bring all stakeholders together, from the generator to the manufacturer and the recyclers, from collection, aggregator, pre-processors, manufacturers, and we are an association that pride ourselves in bringing all stakeholders together to understand why we need to do this. And I always place that on three things: knowledge. It gives room for knowledge sharing, and then even the citizens are more aware of the harm of indiscriminate dumping of their waste. And then the second is the behavioral and attitudinal change. When you give people knowledge and you give them information, it becomes a part of their life, and they begin to change their attitude towards waste management and their environment. So that's what we stand for. And then the last one is the practice. It will change our practice. The discussion we're having today is to change the future. We're talking about innovation. And in that space, we need to begin to bring, like I said, everybody on board. And that must be from the stage of design. we must, from the design of the major waste we're talking about today, which is plastic, from the design, the manufacturers needs to be on board to understand that they need to begin to eliminate the problematic plastic and begin to twin their design towards more recyclable plastics and even reusable plastic and even biodegradable plastics. So we need to go, those are the conversations we need to start having now.
So what you're saying essentially is to build the stakeholder relationships that will effectively tackle plastic waste. We need to go to the source. We need to start at the primary source of the problem and then work our way back. Yeah. Okay. I see that. So thank you very much to my eminent panelists. Right now, like I said, I think there's more value in the question and answer segment. So I would like to just dive straight in. Oluwaseyi Obe asked, any plans to convert waste to energy? You didn't direct this to anyone, Oluwaseyi, so it's unfortunately, I don't know who you are asking that to.
Can I respond to that?
All right.
Okay, there are plans in Lagos to do that. There were, prior to now, there were pilot projects in Lagos that were done converting organic waste to biogas, and it was used to power street lights at the K2 market. And then presently, there's a study going on at Olusosun. I'm not sure whether they are on here. Western Energy is a Nigerian company, and they're working with some foreign companies as well. They're looking at the largest dump site in Lagos on how to convert waste to energy from that space. So okay. There are plans, and the work is going on with the Lagos state government. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Christian Ogidi asked, please, does BASF have a plastic recycling facility? Do they accept plastics from the public for recycling? Dr. Jean-Marc.
At that stage, we don't. We are in feasibility stage. That's why we are scaling up. It's going to be, the way we are positioned, we will be off-takers. We have an interest to regenerate the carbon content in the plastic for further use into chemical and go circular. That's as simple as that.
Okay.
It means that the deployment of the hubs, we will try to encourage entrepreneurship, and we do not plan to be in the waste collection area. We do not even plan to be in the transformation area. We plan to be using the oils that will be produced. That's probably a better way to answer the question.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jean-Marc. Samuel Yimbobiki asked, question for Polycare. How do the bricks cater for correction/adjustment in construction, bearing in mind the strength of the poly bricks?
I didn't quite catch what he's trying to get at. What correction is he talking about? Because our block is mistake proof. You don't need to break anything to put pipes. We actually have a special block, so everything is taken care of. What sort of correction would this be?
I struggle to understand myself. I think it is something similar to where maybe conduit pipes for electrical wiring or for plumbing. I think maybe he needs to see the design of the blocks to really understand that is possible through your block. So maybe that one. Linda Godfrey asked to Muchemwa, I told you to get ready. Is there a solution for dealing with these poly blocks at end of life once they become building waste? At the end of the building life, can they be reprocessed, recycled, since they're a combination of plastic plus other materials, or can they only be disposed of to a landfill? We must also think of the second and third life of the products we produce, not only end of first life.
We have a zero waste policy. And if he or she watches our video, we were able to reuse material from a 5-year-old building. We dismantled it and made a whole new building out of it. So zero waste.
Zero waste. Okay. Charles AK asks, what is the flammability of polyblock considering the material used for it?
Right now we are at REI 120, so 2 hours. We can withstand 2 hours. But maybe at this point, I would like to ask a silly question. When you have a fire in Nigeria and you don't have water, what do you use to quench this fire?
Sand.
Thank you. When you melt a plastic, and you leave it there, what happens to this plastic?
It melts away.
No, it will melt and harden.
Harden, exactly.
So the combination is what we have.
Okay, excellent,
Yes.
excellent. I hope that answers your question. Prince Tikari asks, amazing innovation from polyblocks. Muchwema, what should be the cost per square meters compared to concrete blocks?
The concrete blocks will vary from country to country generally, and our block also varies, but currently we are at 100 square meter, 100 euro per square meter. So to 140 euro per square meter, depending on where you are.
100 to 140 euros per square meter, in my opinion, with the current price of cement, is very competitive. That's just my opinion, anyway. Christian Ogidi asks, wow, Polycare presentation is rich and apt. Please, we will appreciate if you share the papers with us. Yes, we will, with the permission of Polycare. Taufik Lawal asks, are they representatives of these companies in Nigeria? Would they appreciate links for investment opportunities? Muchemwa?
Right now, we don't have representatives of Polycare in Nigeria, but you'll be happy to note that we have Nigerians working in Polycare Germany, and we are looking forward to stepping into Nigeria. So yes, we are welcoming partnerships.
Okay, all right. My good friend Kai Zimmerman asks, hello Polycare, how are the costs of your solution in realization to old school building realization with cement and stones? Kai, I don't think it's not very clear, but how big is the investment for a production line, collection and so on? Are small size solutions also possible?
Right now, to get a factory, you need about 1.2 million euros.
Chicken change. Chike Obiora, please ask our other presenters questions too as well. Chike Obiora asks, what is Polycare's plan for Nigeria? Are they coming in? Are they open to partnering? I think you've already answered that. Anita Manuel asks, Michemwa, please, how effective are those design blocks to areas where the topography is swampy, moldy? In fact, can all soil types, all types of soil adopt this innovation?
Yes, all soil types, except you need reinforcement, structural reinforcement, like any other building, yeah.
Okay. Michael Oredole asks, again to Muchemwa. The presentation for Muchemwa is very wonderful. However, I will be interested in the cost implication for Africa. Yes, cement is expensive, but considering the raw material for Polycare, how much will it translate to in Nigeria and other African countries? Will it be cost effective? And what happens to the waste products from building constructed with Polycare? Any environmental impact, as any new technology or innovation has one impact or the other?
I think we have fairly answered this one.
Yeah, we fairly answered it. Christian Ogidi asks to Dr. Jean-Marc, please, is BASF plastic identification equipment available in the market?
Answer is yes. And the one that we see in the video is the only one currently being deployed in Africa, but it is marketed products elsewhere.
Okay, excellent. Tobias Schleicher asked, what happens if the building is demolished? Can it be reused? I think we've answered this. Oluwakayode Tade asks, what about Biofabrics modular waste X plastic technology vis-a-vis the presentation of BASF waste to chemicals? I'm of the opinion that the former is smaller but more flexible than that of the latter, BASF. Is that, I think that is to you, Dr. Jean-Marc.
Well, let's wait until the demo unit is here. We'll see.
Okay. Okay. Robert Holman asks, is the BASF process applicable to all plastics, or are polyolefins the more applicable units for better output results?
And that's exactly why we have a lab on the ground. In other words, we are beginning to understand the chemistries and the influence of the plastic mix to the quality of the oil, and most importantly, to what you do with the oil later. Okay. Now, we'll see how far we can, and again, that's why we are bringing that demo unit to start exploring on a much larger scale the scope. Because we are not, I mean, we know we're going to have to be polycarbons, but we also know that we can now process PET. And we don't want to take PET away from what is being used for in mechanical recycling, but there's quite a fraction of PET which today cannot be recycled, and we are just proposing an option to regenerate the carbon content. Now, how would that behave in a larger scale? Again, come over to our site in a month from now when we will start firing up, and I think those questions will be answered, including the one on energy, CO2, and mass balance.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Jean-Marc. Kabiru Dauda asked Dr. Jean-Marc, my question goes to the BASF presenter. Do you mind giving examples of the chemicals produced in your pyrolysis lab? What are the markets for these chemicals?
That's a good question. We are today looking at the re-entry point from a chemical value chain perspective, and particularly the technicalities. We want to re-enter what is the most valuable from a total value chain perspective, and there are more than one options. So it's difficult. And if you follow what we are doing on a global scale, you may know that we have already proven that product can be made out of chemical oil. But where we re-enter remains to be seen. I mean, that again is probably for later this year.
Okay, all right. Olukayode Tade asks, polyblocks are interesting and innovative, but what could the recycling products from waste to resin sustain the housing demand? But could the recycling products from waste to resin sustain the housing demands? I think that's the question. So he's challenging you, Muchemwa. Do you think that we produce enough waste to close the housing deficits that we have in Lagos?
Of course. When you look at the amount of plastic waste right now, we may not even manage to use all of that resin, actually.
Okay. Good. So, I mean, it's just one solution. You are not the silver bullet. I think everyone needs to understand that. Theodora Zora asked, I would like to know which company. I think there are several companies in Nigeria that currently recycles plastics. BASF, you can talk to Dr. Femi Adegoke. He's the chairman of the Lagos Recyclers Association. Dr. Femi, if you can put your email in the chat so that Theodora Zora can get in touch with you, that will be fine. Fatima Munir asked, is it possible to stop one-use plastics, single-use plastics completely, like PET bottles? There needs to be more recycling. Fatima, I do not know who you asked this question to, so maybe I should just pose it to Dr. Adegoke. Is it possible to stop single-use plastics completely, like PET bottles? There would be no need for recycling. So long-term use plastics makes more sense, like computers and the likes. Policy-wise, economically, and practically, is it possible to completely ban single-use plastics?
Yes, it's going to take a while, but it's possible to completely ban single-use plastic. And that's why I said earlier on, we need to eliminate problematic unnecessary plastics. We need to begin to innovate what we call biodegradable plastics, reusable plastic, and recyclable plastics. There are plastics like thermoplast. Right now, I don't think there is, we can't recycle that. They are not even single use, but we cannot even recycle that. So we need to begin to innovate. So yes, not on the immediate, until we provide an alternative. That's where I stand. You cannot totally ban something that people are using and is durable. Yeah, it causes problem in the environment, but that's why we need to increase our engagement with the populace, with the citizens, towards behavioral and attitudinal change. And then it brings to bear the waste management hierarchy, where we have to have a paradigm shift, where at the top, we must have more rethinking. You don't shop if you don't need it. You don't take when you don't need it. So we need to begin to have that conversation. We need to begin to educate our people. Our discussion shouldn't just be around plastic and packaging. It should become a circular conversation now.
Okay. Okay. I think I actually I am actually a big proponent of what you've said. I completely agree with how you think, and maybe after this presentation, we'll have a longer conversation, you and I. Ashley Diedrichs. Okay, sorry. Sunday Ola Lorun asked, maybe to Muchemwa still, how cheap is this technology compared to conventional cement and block? I'm thinking maybe the best way to answer this question, Muchemwa, is to use a typical country, Namibia, right? So how cheap would it be to build a house with a cement and block in Namibia compared to using your solution?
So what I mentioned earlier, the 100 euro per square meter is based on Namibia.
Okay, so how much would it cost to build a house using the cement and blocks in Namibia currently?
For a 60 square meter house, you'd spend 20,000 euros.
Okay.
Everything, yes, 10K.
Okay. All right. Ashley Diedrichs asks, is this really more effective? Isn't there anything 100% friendly? I'm sorry, Ashley, I do not know who to ask, direct your questions to. I'm so sorry. I don't think we can take that. Aisha Ahmed asks, how do we benefit from this project, e.g. training, setting up centers in other parts of the country? I do not know who you asked this question to. It could either be to Muchemwa or to Dr. Jean-Marc. I'm sorry. I think we should move on. Question to Muchemwa from Robert Holman. Are there any issues related to solar degradation of the polymer content over time?
No, there are no issues. Our product is UV resistant.
UV resistant, okay. Nodim Wogu asks, are you already operational in Nigeria? I think you've already mentioned that. He said, how do we contact you for collaboration? Muchemwa, if you can put your email address in the chat, so maybe Nodim can get in touch with you, that'll be fine. Charles Benwari, how much would it cost in dollars to build a complete 2-bedroom flat using Polycare materials? I don't think you can answer that yet, right?
I think I answered it when we spoke about Namibia. I said for a 60 square meter, 10K would be 20,000 euros.
Okay, with Polycare.
Mm-hmm.
And then for with blocks, it should be how much? Do you know?
No, but what I know is cement is not exactly cheap in Namibia. It is cheaper in South Africa.
Okay. Timilahi Ibigami asks to Muchemwa, what is the durability level of your material against strong weather conditions, or rather against natural hazards?
Okay, so apart from being UV resistant, our product was built for disaster. It was actually inspired by the Haiti disaster. Okay. So in the worst case scenario, the building would float, never disintegrate.
Okay, excellent. Titi Lokpe will the Polycare product be affordable for an average Nigerian? I think she has answered that. Jivan Nakum asks, in Nigeria, who is having the following polypropylene and polyethylene recycling technologies like NGR, EREMA? I don't think any of the people here. Maybe you contact Dr. Femi Adegoke, he can answer this question. Jivan, sorry, just contact Dr. Femi. I'm sure he'll be able to answer this question. Adewumi Ayedun asks, is BASF solution available for styrofoams? Dr. Jean-Marc? You're on mute, sir.
So sorry. The answer, yes, in the lab we have very high conversioning.
Okay. Okay. All right. Folari Adekunle asks to Harold of Recycland, finally, are there opportunities for an emerging organization willing to go into collection of waste plastics to benefit from the support offered by Recycland? Harold?
Yes, there are. There are opportunities. I'd say the person, besides the fact we just launched a green fund, I believe the person can like reach out to Recycland. You get through the email address or whatever it is. If you also have contact with FBRE, we work closely with our rest of FBRE. You can reach out to her. She's pretty much one of the beacons we have in recycling. She'll be able to put you on how you could actually access the fund.
Okay. An anonymous attendee, and I don't think I would want to take this question because I don't think it would be fair to ask a question from an anonymous attendee. So I'm so sorry. If you can put your name and then maybe we'll ask your question. Polycare, can we substitute inert ash from a waste to energy operation for sand in the Polycare bricks? It was asked by EcoMM Michael Anyadibe.
Of course we can. In fact, the factory that is to come up in South Africa is targeting foundry sand, which is fly ash, yeah.
Okay, can use fly ash. Excellent. Timilayi Bigami asked to Muchemwa, what is the durability level of Polycare? Okay, I think we've answered that. Jeremiah Himikai asks, can there be a transfer of technology for production in Nigeria from polyblocks? I think you've answered that question as well. All right. Sinwile Kumalu asks, I would like to inquire about the possibilities of collaborating in South Africa with Polycare. I think you can reach out to Muchemwa. She'll put her email address in the chat. To Polycare, do we have to worry about emissions from pollutants from PET resins, considering your materials are used for residential buildings?
Not at all. Once we use the resin, you won't even know there is plastic in this product.
In the building, exactly. And the last question we have here is, again, I think a lot of people are very unconvinced that plastic can withstand strong wind and considering the fact that it's lighter than cement. So I think maybe you need to maybe clarify what this tensile strength thing means to them.
I'll throw the question to the panel. What is the compressive strength of cement blocks? Does anyone know?
No.
It's between 15 to 30 megapascals. This is the highest you can achieve with cement. We achieve 100 to 120. You can basically build a bridge with our polymer concrete. Maybe it is super strong.
Maybe until they see the bridge built, they will not believe.
I'm not just sure who can afford this bridge, but yeah, it would make a strong bridge.
So I think with that, we've come to the end of today's session. We finished it 30 minutes ahead of time. So I would like to thank everyone who made time to attend today's session. Like Dr. Trauman said at the start of the session, today's webinar is part of a series of webinars that we organize here at the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce on behalf of the German missions in Nigeria, which includes the Consulate General of the Federal Republic of Germany in Lagos and the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany in Abuja. And we hope to have another session sometime before the end of this year in person, and it will be in Lagos and Abuja, knock on wood. Hopefully COVID restrictions would have eased up by then, and then the the world essentially would have found a solution to the Delta variant, and there will be no new variants, absolutely no new variants by then. So we hope to see you then. In the interim period, we're going to have a lot of other webinars around topics related to renewable energy, around topics related to hydrogen. I'm very excited about our hydrogen project that we will start also this month. And I'm looking forward to welcoming all of you. I hope you are able to also make time to participate in those sessions. And I wish you all a very good day. And thanks to me, you have 30 minutes free on your calendar, so you can do with it what you please. So I'll be taking donations for creating 30 minutes on your calendar, free of charge. So you please have a nice day, enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you at our next webinar.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Jamba.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mchemwa. Thank you, Shokwe. Thank you, Dr. Femi. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Godwin.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Stefan. Very grateful. Thank you very much.